Welcome back to PCW, where today we are reviewing WWE Smackdown. Smackdown recovered from a shaky week last week by over-promising, giving us a Hell in a Cell match on free TV, and that's before you consider giving us a great opening tag match and a genuine conclusion to the feud between Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura. There are still some issues. There were no women's matches, and we have added 2 more matches to Hell in a Cell that are rematches from WrestleMania. Hell in a Cell is now half WrestleMania rematches, and that's before you even factor in WrestleMania Backlash, where there were more rematches. With all this and more, I'm PCW's Tom Colahue. Make sure to click like, subscribe if you haven't, and let's get started. With the main event being Roman Reigns against Rey Mysterio in a Hell in a Cell, they opened with a Rey Mysterio promo, dueling with Roman, who came out later on to promo as well. It was all about endangering Rey's family. Dominic apparently injured, not available. Jey Uso also not shown this week, away basically working out how he feels about things. This feud feels very limited, very independent, very 2 week, which essentially it has been. As an aside, I can confirm that Karrion Kross, Scarlett Bordeaux, Bronson Reed and Becky Lynch were all backstage at this Smackdown, largely to see how they were progressing, ready for a return or a debut on the main roster. Bronson Reed, I believe, is the only person in that group who hasn't been on the main roster at some point. After the promos, we got our first sign of a desperation for ratings. This is a ratings grab Smackdown and a half, when we saw a hype package for Commander Aziz's debut before a commercial break. You'll see that used a lot this week. Our first wrestling match was Commander Aziz's debut alongside Apollo Crews against Big E and Kevin Owens. This essentially is to give Big E something to do now that Aleister Black is out of the picture, but the story here is Kevin Owens against Apollo Crews. Unfortunately, the story is actually still Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn would come down, provide a distraction from the commentary desk, allowing Commander Aziz to get the pin over Kevin Owens with another Nigerian nail. Shortly afterwards, Kevin Owens would go back to Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, both looking damn good in their suits, and demand a match for Hell in a Cell. Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura had about a 10-minute match to determine who would win the crown and be the king of WWE, and honestly the match was very good and very conclusive. There was a couple of very good powerful moments for Baron Corbin, but ultimately Nakamura was just a little smarter and a little stronger, throwing a lot of knees and finishing with a Kinshasa to put down Corbin for the 1-2-3. It's not often Baron Corbin loses a match like this, so I would keep an eye on him as to how he is reheated. A Money in the Bank win, for example, could be in his future. For the second hour draw segment, we were joined by Bianca Belair, who essentially said that she'd been bullied in the past and she wasn't going to deal with a bully like Bayley. She enhanced what she said last week saying that she wanted a match with Bayley, this week saying that she wanted to take it inside Hell in a Cell. It's the right call, I tell you that. It is absolutely the right call. There are some necessities to a Hell in a Cell match. Invention and power definitely are the key factors. Bianca Belair brings the power, Bayley brings the invention. These two could be very creative in this cell and make some absolute magic. Bayley would come down to attack Bianca Belair, hold up the championship in what will undoubtedly be the end of the hype package for Hell in a Cell, and the Thunderdome would change to suit what was on screen at the time. It is unusual for Bayley to be this aggressive, slightly out of character, and this was our only women's segment. No Carmella and Liv Morgan, no tag team champions, no anything beyond this. Angelo Dawkins was supposed to take on Otis in a continuation of Otis's heel turn and build. It's been a positive build for Otis. Chad Gable there basically giving everything to the cause in order to try and get Otis over, with a moderate amount of success so far. Otis looked very good here, attacking Angelo Dawkins along with Chad Gable as both men basically tore the man apart. Both Street Profits now hurt. This continues to build towards a feud with the tag team, and honestly I'm very excited for it. My expectation for SummerSlam is that it will be the Mysterios losing the tag team titles to the Usos. The Street Profits will give to Otis and Gable here, but will return to the championship scene once the Usos have the championships again. That'll be a hell of a feud. Cesaro was being interviewed backstage by Kayla Braxton, but she was interrupted by Seth Rollins, who took over the interview chair. The two spoke quite civilly, and it was confirmed that we will have the two of them matching up once again at Hell in a Cell. To end though, Cesaro just sort of pushed Seth off his chair. Took him 2 attempts as well. This storyline doesn't really have a story anymore. Finally, in our main event, we had Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio in Hell in a Cell, and this delivered in a short period. Rey Mysterio using weapons from the off, chairs, a toolbox, tables to get the advantage over Roman, really looking powerful from the start, but Roman would eventually recover enough to throw Rey Mysterio over the top rope in the powerbomb style into the cell, have him bounce off before dragging him back in using a standard inverted guillotine, so changing up his offense a little bit there. In addition, essentially making it so that Rey would have to tap out while standing in a move somewhat similar to the Hurt Lock. Rey looked powerful, looked like he had a great chance, but it was clear that this was going to be Roman Reigns' day. After his win, Jimmy Uso would come down to the ring, raise Roman's hand in a sign that the bloodline is fully united once Jey comes back. The absence of Jey Uso was felt here. This also very much seems like the end of the feud between Roman and Rey. Where can you go from here? This was a conclusive, clean win for Roman. If we get Dominic versus Roman, I wouldn't be arguing, but that would also have to be a conclusive, clean win. SmackDown this week was a good show, with the undercard rising back to meet expectations. We got some good matches, Kevin Owens looked good, we got more matches added to Hell in a Cell even though they're rematches, and we had the main event with Roman and Rey. Rey Mysterio was particularly good this week and really added a lot to the overall presentation of this show. Having the Nakamura and Corbin feud end so conclusively suggests that we may have something good going for Nakamura soon. I would like to see Nakamura against Roman. I think that's logically the next step. And honestly, I think Nakamura might have a chance of winning the championship in the Eddie Guerrero style. That said, the rematches, the continued build for certain people, the lack of star power in the ring, and the fact that we just didn't have a women's match do work against this SmackDown for me. So while it doesn't reach the upper echelon, it was still a very enjoyable show. Let me know what you thought of SmackDown down in the comments. I've been Tom Collehy for PCW, and I will see you next time.